everybody. Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. I'm Moshe Kasher, and this is my co-host, Yoko Ono.
Listen, I'm going full Yoko. I'm sick. You're making me record a podcast. No, I want to be here for my
listeners,
honeymooners.
Yeah, Natasha is deathly ill. And let me just say...
I'm not deathly ill. I just have like a cough that sounds like you know when your kid has croup? That kind of is like how my cough sounds.
Hey,
you'll hear it.
You listeners out there, you know when your kid has croup... Stop it, Natasha. I was doing a really funny riff on croup. You saying... Listen, we barely got it together to do the episode this week. But let me just say this. I was in Washington, D.C. this weekend. I'm not trying to brag, but for 5 sold-out shows, not a seat to be had.
Congratulations, honey.
Hot Fire Flames shows with young Andrew Mitchen, and it's pronounced Michon. And I didn't do a meet and greet with my adoring fans because Sunday was Natasha's birthday, and I don't know if you remember Chocolate Cake Gate.
Oh my God, I just realized something.
What?
My cold is payment for humiliating you for making me a homemade chocolate cake during the pandemic is your only present to me.
4 years later, finally my chickens came home to roost. I didn't do a meet and greet. I didn't do any...
I'm so sorry from keeping you from talking to fans for 2 hours.
Yep, because I like to see them.
And bringing home COVID.
I like to see them. And I didn't do a meet and greet because I said to myself, Sunday is Natasha's birthday. And when I get home, I had a whole thing planned, a very special...
We were going out of town.
...celebration of Natasha. And here was the plan. I was going to fly from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, during Cherry Blossom weekend. I was going to get in the car. I'd fly all the way to D.C. I parked at the airport. I suffered through the indignities of Wally Park. A shuttle to my car, to a 2-hour drive up north to where Natasha and my loving child were, to then take another 45-minute drive to the stop 1 of our amazing Natasha celebration adventure and have a delectable meal at a Michelin star restaurant on the Central California coast, and then do another hour drive after that to get to our final surprise destination. And guess what? Natasha was too sick to deal with my amazing romanticism. So I stopped at an antique shop on the side of the road, and I bought her a vase, and I bought her some earrings.
Oh, I meant to put them in.
It's okay. I don't think anybody could see them over your stocking that you're wearing as your do-rag.
Well, I had to get out of bed, so I wanted to kind of do like a Michael Jackson thing.
You're looking... Oh, my God. I can't imagine this is listenable, folks. Maybe our toxic producer, Laura, found a way to cut out all of Natasha's hacking
Finish
cough.
the story. So you stopped and you got me this beautiful gift.
My point is, Natasha, we had to cancel the whole thing. I felt so bad that I had not done a meet and greet. No, I felt so bad for poor Natasha. It was really pathetic. The only bakery that was open by the time I got here was like a second run late night bakery, and all we had, it was a very sad scene. A single candle.
Let's just say flan's not good when it's good.
I like flan.
So you bought me a piece of flan.
An old piece of flan and some dried out cake, and we did what we could. But the point is, if it's the thought that counts, then I nailed it. And
you really did kill it, Moshe, and it was so sweet. Thank you.
Well, it's because I care deeply and was shamed profoundly. Now, Natasha...
You did it out of shame?
A little bit of both. Love and shame. The two guiding principles in our relationship. And the only thing that makes it up for it now is seeing you looking like the world's most high-class international terrorist. Natasha Leggero, what do you want your next year of your life? Oh, brother. Maybe we should just do our first caller. Do you have any goals for your next year?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for your kindness.
Hey.
I'm sorry that you acted out of being shamed.
No, it was mostly love. I was excited.
How
to
much were
take
you
on an
excited
adventure.
for the adventure?
You know what was actually very fun?
Like
is
it
I
was
kept-
like 50% something you wanted to do too, though, right?
Well, what was really fun was I kept telling our kid the secret of what we were doing, and watching her attempt to keep a secret from you for 2 weeks was really funny. But Natasha, I would say, knew 75% of what we were doing by the time it was her birthday. Now,
But we didn't do any of it.
another thing happened to me on the my trip to DC, which was that one of the listeners mentioned that we don't say the name of our child on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this person assumed it was for security purposes, and I wanted to kind of dispel that rumor, right? It has nothing to do with security and everything to do with aesthetics, right?
Oh, yeah. I just didn't want anyone to steal her name.
That's it. That's the whole thing. We don't want...
I grew up with a name that not a lot of people had.
Yeah, Natasha.
Yeah, it was like
a very
cool.
obscure name.
Well, it's kind of obscure.
Yeah, and we don't want people to know what it is.
It's not like, I don't know.
Well,
I feel like I'm going to offend all my friends' kids' names.
Ask yourself this. When the endless...
Let's just say there's like, I was at the playground and there was 2 Artemises.
Right.
People like cool, like weird names, but then all of a sudden everybody will name someone something.
Right, and we didn't want a bunch of little tofus running around. Now, ask yourself, we're trendsetters. That's the truth. And ask yourself, how many guests of this podcast have started advice podcasts after they appeared on this podcast? The answer is an uncomfortable amount. Did we invent the advice podcast? No, we did not. Did we take it from previous iterations? Maybe so. Did Dear Abby invent advice? I believe it was Socrates that first gave the first bit of advice. The point is, we know that when we do something, people are sure to follow. And that is why we don't say the name of our child, because then we'll just have a lot of little Nagchampas running around. So, it's not about security. In fact, our child goes to Wonderland Elementary School, and it's a soft target. And also on Fridays from 3 to 7 p.m., you can find her at Baby Karaoke in the Hollywood Hills. All you have to do is say that you have a kid in there, and they'll let you right in. So if that's what you're after, there's no worries there. She can defend herself. She's been fully trained in pepper spray. I just bought her some pepper spray. It was so cute.
You bought that for her?
I bought our child pepper spray, and she totally, like the minute I gave it to her, sprayed herself. It was so funny.
That? I thought that was for me.
She was screaming, "Mommy, it burns!" And I was whispering, "Mommy's not here. Feel the burn." And it was really awesome. But
okay, this is a character. See, I never know with you, Moshe.
Because it's always high octane, 10 out of 10 comedy, and it's just that's what it's like around our dinner table, right, Tosh?
That's right, Moshe.
We're just sitting around eating dinner, cracking TF up. And that stands for the fuck. Natasha?
Sorry, I just want to laugh at you because when I laugh, I cough.
Well, I appreciate you holding back. You look awesome. Happy birthday. I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we begin our podcast? I'm doing even more of the talking than usual because Natasha is in a compromised state.
Well, it's not fun to have it be your birthday, but then also the day you're reflecting on age, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Like you don't have your full capacity. And sometimes when you're physically not feeling your all, excuse me, then mentally it can like mess with your head a little bit, and also it's just stressful being sick.
Yeah, well, remember when we were young?
Oh, because now the kid is sick.
Remember when we were young and the birthday was like exciting and you couldn't wait to get to your birthday? And now it's just like you can see death at the end of the treadmill of the like electric sidewalk at the airport, and death's like, "Come here, you're getting closer."
What do you think's the last year of a birthday you're like so pumped at still being young is?
25.
No way.
25, I think the turnover.
You think 27-year-olds? Yeah, I see. I know what you mean. Though.
They're going like, uh-oh, 30. And then 30's, 40. And then 40's, 50. And then you die at 55.
I think 50 You can get a good decade in or two.
I'll tell you what I
if
don't
you really
like.
take care of yourself.
A decade or two? You're planning to live on to 60 or 70?
No, I'm saying of like prime living.
Listen.
Obviously, I hope to live much longer than that, but I'm saying like you could be in your prime maybe.
I'm hoping to surf until I'm 80. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I think if you get on the right kind of diet and exercise and stay healthy mentally.
How long do you think
sure.
we'll bone for? When do you think will we ever stop boning?
As long as there's no like shit bags around, I think we're good.
Well, you are romantic, Natasha.
Thank you.
All right, let's start our podcast with a banger of a call. Our first caller is Dan from Philadelphia. And by the way, Dan and all the other Philadelphians out there, I'm coming your way. In April, I will be there on the 12th, I believe the 12th and 13th of April. I will be at the Helium Comedy Club. So let's get this party freaking started. All right, we're going to call Dan in Philadelphia, where I will be on the 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Helium Comedy Club. Let's see if Dan's got his tickets yet. Dan.
Hello, how are you doing?
Well, I've got a really important question for you. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Did you yet buy your tickets to see me in Philadelphia April 13th, 14th, or 15th?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't know you were playing. No joke, will buy tickets as soon as we're done here.
How bad?
Moshe was wondering if you could do it now before we start the call.
Yeah, could we do it like while we're on the call? How bad is my promotional arm in Philadelphia that a caller to the podcast doesn't even know I'm coming? Dan, you made me realize a lot of stuff, and I need to make some big changes.
Sorry, Dan, for Moshe, his self...
Natasha's pretty ill.
Sorry.
She's having a tough time riffing today, so be gentle on her, okay?
The safari was probably awfully demanding on you. So.
Dan coming through blasting you.
Wait, he said it's demanding on me?
Yeah, he said it took a lot out of you to dress up like Indiana Jones's assistant.
It actually took 2 seconds. It took
All right, what's up? How can we help?
So the general question is coming out of maybe a depressive period of my life. I want to try and put myself in situations that are fun, and kind of even more specifically, I'm looking to try and meet people, try and meet women to date, potentially get into a relationship with. The premise is so late 2021, I was dating someone and they broke up with me, and just as a sort of interim stage while I figured out where I was going to go next, I was living with her. I moved back to Pennsylvania and I moved back in with my folks. That was intended to be 1 to 3 months tops. My father unfortunately passed in the very beginning of 2022.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. So those two things were kind of a 1-2 punch of emotional distress, and I deal with depression kind of as a by nature. So those things I essentially kind of withdrew from the world for a while. I'm starting to finally shake it off. I got back into therapy. I got back into the gym with a personal trainer. So I've taken those first couple steps, and so maybe this is obvious to a lot of other people, but I want to get out and have fun again. I want to make friends and meet people. And so my question for you is, how do I put myself in situations to do that?
It's a great question, and I've got a very simple answer. I'll be in Philadelphia April the 13th, 14th. And no, Natasha, what do you think? You're always, I feel like, a real cheerleader for people getting out into analog fun.
Everybody makes fun of me when I say that.
No, but I think this could be really good for Dan. Because I feel like, Dan, it seems like internet dating. Well, what I want to say, first of all, is like what you have been through would depress anyone. And if you're already dealing with clinical depression on top of that was lingering before any of this stuff went down, it's like no wonder that you took a my year in the cave kind of situation. So like, I mean, I just applaud you for sort of recognizing all those things. Like this happened, and this is who I am, and now I want to like emerge and come out of the thing. I think that that's really cool and really courageous, and I'll start there. And then Natasha, I feel like always has good advice for stuff like this.
What city do you live in?
I live in a suburb of Philly, so I can get to the city in like a half hour.
Okay, and do you have like anything you're super passionate about, or a hobby, or is there something you love, like
Yeah, what do you love?
plays, opera, bowling? I don't know.
I really enjoy musical theater, and it's for off and on. I sing. I've been in choirs, so musical performance would be an easy place to start. Stand-up comedy. I genuinely love stand-up comedy. Moshe, I discovered you listening to Jimmy Pardo's podcast.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, listen, it seems so obvious where your path is. It's
Well, what I was gonna say is throw money at that. What is like the premiere? Like, what's the thing you can do that is, a party or an opening night or like something where you can like meet people, or I don't know, just try to make yourself a part of that world more.
Yes, and you.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, I'm looking at you and I'm analyzing your circumstances and what you've been through in the last couple of years. I'm thinking you're not probably a dude that's gonna like go to the premiere of a Strange Loop in Philly and chat up a woman in the lobby, right? That's kind of not your vibe, right?
Okay, fine.
No, is that right?
Yes and no. It probably. I feel like my vibe I put off is dork, which makes sense because I'm a software engineer. That's what I do for work, and I'm sort of introverted with periods of extrovertism. So it's hard, depending on the time and place, and just a roll of the dice. I don't mind approaching someone. That's sort of what I want to do, is put myself out of my comfort zone.
Well, I think I have your path here. I think this one's easy because, like I'm saying, listen, we all know that musical theater, that there is no finer way to get laid than to approach a woman at random in the lobby of a musical theater performance. But you say you used to
But maybe
sing.
there's a bar where all the musical theater people go, and maybe you can hang out at that bar. I don't know. You just kind of have to like circle the world.
I'm thinking what you need, Dan, because, okay, let me give you an analogy. Working out, right? I hate it, right? I hate it because I always feel like I'm stuck in tedium until the end of the workout. So anything that's like self-generated, like running on a treadmill, or yoga is the worst. Even though I love yoga and the way it makes me feel, it's so internal that I can't get to the end of a class without staring at the clock 50 times because I'm like, when does this end? So what I do to work out is I try to find workarounds, right? Like I do boxing training because I'm learning how to box and then accidentally I got to work out. Or I do surfing because I'm like having fun, but then accidentally I got to work out. For you, when you're coming out, especially in this sort of tender stage that you're in, I think, even though I believe you that you can be very extroverted, what you need is like a workaround, right? Rather than I'm going to go to a singles bar and try to get a woman, I just feel like that's too much pressure. But you're saying you like musical theater. I say find a regional theater production. Find a choir. Find an adult choir. Find that
doesn't mean he wants to be. Do you want to perform? Are you a performer?
He sings.
I enjoy it from both sides.
Oh, beautiful. So you'll fuck anything. That's great. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you do a regional theater, even a cringy little nothing-ass regional theater production, or an adult choir that feels dorky or feels like, I'm never going to meet anybody hot or cool there, I feel like that's the kind of perfect thing for you. Because
if you can make time for something like that.
Yeah, you have an excuse to be there. You've got a skill, which is that you can sing, whether it's great or not, doesn't really matter. You know how to do it. And you'll have a reason for being there and a reason for meeting everybody. And at worst, you'll meet new friends, which probably you probably need that as much or more than a romantic partner. I think that's Natasha's onto something. You find the thing that you're passionate about, and rather than like go to a theater talk or a symposium and hope to meet someone, you get in on the actual activity side of it, and that'll be your in. I feel like that's what I would recommend.
Okay, everyone. Go ahead.
I have sort of two things in mind that I know of, and I'm curious. I'm probably overthinking this. So I know there's a couple brew pubs near me, and one of them I know on Thursdays offers karaoke, which kind of falls right in my wheelhouse. But a lot of my remaining friends in the area are dads, so it's hard to get them out. So is it weird to go to karaoke by yourself?
Nothing's weird. Of course not. It's not weird to do something by yourself. You know what I did when I
if I met a guy, no, I don't know. If I, even as a friend, if I met a guy, I was at a karaoke bar with my girlfriends and we started talking and I was like, who are you here with? And you're like, myself.
You think you'd be scared?
I don't know if you go to karaoke by yourself.
Okay,
Sorry.
What's option two? I think you should go, but know that Natasha's right, that a person might be like, I'm sorry, what? You came here. So what's your option two?
The other thing I consider is group classes at my gym where they offer things like Zumba, which surprisingly is something I don't mind. And I don't intend to necessarily go up and approach someone, but at least I'm amongst people and, I'm putting myself in a circumstance where we're having a shared experience, something like that.
Yes, and I think the more you can pick things to do with your free time that hit two marks, you know what I mean? That are something you want to do, but that are also potentially social.
Well,
so that you like a workout is a perfect example because it's like it doesn't matter. You're still going to get something out of it.
Here's why I think okay, first of all, my first advice still stands. I think neither of those are the exact thing that I think is perfect. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that's perfect is like, hi, I'm Dan, and I used to sing blah, blah, blah. I was, Sweeney Todd in 8th grade, and I'll sing anything. Then you're automatically in a community. Okay, maybe they don't have a regional theater production. Fine. Hi, I'm here for the adult choir thing. You're just in. But here is why that, which I think would be like the best kind of thing, or Zumba, or karaoke, all of them are yeses, is because they all kill two birds with one stone, which is, yes, maybe you'll meet a partner, but probably not, right? Like you probably aren't going to like hit the thing on the first try. But all of them have the secondary benefit of you putting yourself out there.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, and like, did I just repeat it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But that's okay. But listen, you know what? It's also about turning the yeses or turning the no's into yeses,
And fighting against that instinct that says, oh, fuck it, just stay in. We're in, people, because I love what you're saying. Like the instinct to get out again, even if it doesn't net the result you want, it'll net something positive. There's no question about that. I say yes to that.
It's so much better to make a date with someone that's like, a 45-minute walk than a 45-minute coffee.
But I know
because if you're not into them, because then at least you're like getting exercise.
I know for sure that in Philadelphia right now, I want to look it up. I'm tempted to look it up while we're on the phone, but because you were so rude that you didn't buy the tickets on the phone with us, I will not do. No, I'm just kidding. But I know that in Philadelphia, if I were to look up adult choir or adult musical theater class, it's a big enough city that exists. Mm-hmm. And I think, listen, maybe you don't want to do those two things, but doing a thing where you're like there and it's natural for you to talk to everybody there and you're doing something that you're good at, so you're going to feel like a little bit of a win. I feel like that's the way. Like my first instinct before you told me what you're into is I was like, you need something like Burning Man and to like join a camp because, and I know that Natasha's probably rolling her eyes, even though I can't see it through the limo tint glasses, at me suggesting Burning Man to anyone. But one of the cool things about Burning Man is you just write to a camp and say, hey, I want to be in your camp, and then you're automatically a part of that little community. So finding something like that that's close to you, I think would be that's your secret in, whether it's volunteering somewhere, whether it's doing a choir thing, whether this Zumba and karaoke, I think they're good because they'll fight your depression, but they don't have an organic, hey, talk to me element. Sure. In fact, I would say a guy who goes to Zumba to talk to all the ladies, maybe I don't know. That
And
could be
I still think if you're open to it, do online stuff and make your profile super specific. Just make it like exactly who you are, and what you like, and only contact me if blank, and use it as long as you're not going to get addicted to it. But I just think that alone is not really enough. It wouldn't be enough for me once Moshe croaks, and I got to get back out there on the scene.
she would be at a Zumba class looking for somebody to sidle up to her in neon spandex while you're doing the samba crunches. But Dan, I think the headline to me is your instinct is right, and I think you know that already, and you're just calling to hear us say it back to you. Your instinct is right, which is you gave yourself the couple of years to like heal and cocoon and blah, blah, blah. And now it is time to go out again, even though it'll be embarrassing or awkward or weird, maybe. The instinct of like, okay, I gave myself the time to heal, and now Dan is back, baby.
Yeah, I think I just needed to hear you're on the right track. Go for it.
You are on the right track. Go for it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, and you're very welcome. And we'll see you. I'll see you April 13th, 14th, and 15th in the Helium Comedy Club.
Genuinely, I'm going to buy tickets as soon as we're done.
I love it. I'll see you there.
Okay, good luck, honey. Let us know how it goes.
I will. Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care.
I'm trying to fight the urge to stay home. It's hard.
I hear it, but it's like I loved what he was saying. He was like, I mean, you lose a father, you lose a love, Yeah, you're gonna want, and you're already like prone to depression. Sure, you're gonna want to sit around for a year, and then you do that, and you go,
and then you're like, what's the point of anything?
Right? There's an easy path to say, I sat around for a year and I didn't die. Maybe I'll just sit around for the rest of my life. But then you kind of miss out, and what happens in the end? You just die anyway. You might as well get out, do some Zumba, and see if you can fuck a Brazilian woman. Natasha, I think we saved one life. Are you ready to save another?
Yes, but I would like to say for the record, I'm about 2 days away from wanting to be in public with my cold.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got that on the record. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes. Now, we're going to call Sid from Toledo, Ohio, a place that does not know what sparkling water is. I swear to God.
Really? You asked for sparkling water in Toledo and nobody knew what it was?
Two people didn't know what it was.
Let's see if Sid knows. Sid. Oh, she knows for sure. She looks cool.
Hi, guys.
She looks cool. All right. We have a test for you, but we know you're going to pass it. And it's disappointing because we wanted you to be more of an ignoramus, and you look smart and cool, and that's not what we wanted from you. You're familiar with the concept of sparkling water, right?
It's in the Cleaver cup.
Boom. Blam.
What's a Cleaver cup?
Yeah, what is a Cleaver cup?
Do you not know The Sopranos?
Oh.
That's an inside joke from The Sopranos?
Yeah, so it's the like blockbuster murder movie that Christopher tries to sell.
Let me just say, Sid, your eyebrows are popping.
Moshe likes big eyebrows.
Draw them on every day. Thank you.
Your eyebrow game is on absolute point. It is perfect, and I can't imagine a person with eyebrows as perfect as you actually needs advice, but we're here for it. How can we help?
Yeah, hi. Okay, well, yeah, thank you all for having me on and for Laura's texting. Okay, so I feel like the two of you from both ends can help me with this. I'm 34. I do not plan to have my own children, but being a very culturally Jewish person, I'm thinking of egg donation. And I wanted to get your insight and opinions about this because I'm already kind of into the process where I've looked at cultural specific organizations because, family in the Holocaust, I kind of want to not risk some things.
We'll take your eggs.
But,
We'll take them.
Yeah, we'll take them. Just send them.
We want your eggs.
I mean, if you know of anybody, I'm down. But basically, my question is: so most of these organizations I've been looking at tend to lean more Orthodox, and I'm a very contemporary and secular person. So I was wondering, do you think that would have any repercussions or implications for the child? I mean, ideally, I would love to meet this person later, and they'd see that I'm like a cool artist or whatever.
Oh, that's a cute. I don't want to say fantasy, But I do like that idea
It is. Yeah.
of like donating your eggs to go to like a very specifically Jewish home, but Jewish in the way that you are.
Well, okay.
And the person growing up and you kind of being her like soul sister, but you never had to do any of the work.
Yeah.
But you can still get that feeling.
I have a question before I answer your question.
Yeah.
What are the things why are you, okay, I guess it does lead to your second question. If you are worried about your egg sizzling on a Skittle that is too religious, like in other words, putting that egg in becoming a human that then is raised in an environment that you have some qualms about, I guess a lifestyle that you have some qualms about, why then don't you just not, why do the Jewish thing? I get you said the Holocaust, but I don't exactly understand what you're saying.
Yeah, this is maybe the last leg of survivor's guilt here. Third generation. So my grandparents came to Toledo. I'm in Ohio, as refugees, and the community here was really wonderful in terms of resettlement. And so my mom found a permanent foster home through Jewish Family Services. And it's kind of like, through that, she found her family and helped people. And I kind of want to do something similar.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. It would feel meaningful. Giving your eggs to just some egg donation lab would feel like you're just tossing your DNA into the mist. But if you do it through a... Kind of. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That
Okay,
makes sense.
I have a question. I have a question. Is, because I get that you don't want them to be too Jewish, but is there a, like if they just were born kind of agnostic, but then taught about Judaism, would you be okay with that?
Wait, born agnostic?
Well, like if they were given to a family that was agnostic, the eggs.
That's what she wants, right?
That did not believe in Judaism or any religion, but promised to teach them about Judaism. Would that be enough for you?
You're saying a non-Jewish family that said, to carry on your legacy, I will teach this little egglet. I'll teach this little omelet about the culture of the owner of this, the former owner of this egg. Would that work for you?
Yes and no, I guess, because I mean, I don't want to make it about, like it has to be pure, right? Or whatever. But I do, we've seen how that goes, but I do want someone who can kind of involve more of the intricacies of the culture. And I think in terms of communication, in terms of openness. And I mean, I personally felt very alone being the only bat mitzvah in my grade, So it's like, I don't really want someone to tokenize.
You want to pass on that legacy of loneliness to the next generation.
Tokenize.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let me reframe what you're saying and tell me if this is right. You're passionate about the egg that you donate going to a Jewish family that takes it seriously,
actively Jewish.
But you're
But
you're also passionate about them not taking it too seriously.
Exactly. Yes. Where's the happy medium?
And so, what has your research?
You got to raise them yourself, honey.
What?
You're like, how can I find someone to raise a child
exactly like me?
Exactly how I would. I'll donate you my eggs for free. I'll pay all the lawyer fees.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
Tell her I'm an artist in Manhattan. She can come see me in 23 years.
That is very funny. You're like, I want somebody to raise my child exactly how I would raise a child, but it will not be me.
Well, okay. I mean, more so of just... I'm just worried about the potential restrictiveness, and I talked to a few people already about this, and they kept reiterating, if the person is actively seeking out an egg, they're serious about it, and they likely would very much love this child. So,
Orthodox families definitely love their children. I would say probably on an equal level to every other kind of family in the world. But I'm curious, are you allowed to select the family that you donate to? Are you allowed to meet them? Or is that not how it works?
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
I know people looking for eggs.
Started this research.
I know people looking for eggs. I know people looking for eggs, and you can just settle outside of court. You just have to pay lawyer fees or something.
That
and get a psychological exam. But it costs money.
That is an option,
Yeah.
which is to not go through an organization and go direct to the source.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like and you know, whether that's like social media or whether it's on this very podcast, if there's a family out there that's Jewish that wants to raise a kid Jewish, and you could then meet that person and then get a vibe, because my whole thing is like this. I'm not, no offense, but what you're talking about, like with Orthodoxy, I just feel like it maybe is a little bit. I mean, it's not like being raised Orthodox is automatically like you're living in, Fiddler on the Roof, and it's like every day is a struggle. Most Orthodox families, I mean, my family's all Orthodox. Most of them are pretty happy and have a nice time and a nice life. I think that
I wouldn't want my kid to be Orthodox either.
Yeah, I know, but there's a certain level of when you do egg donation, it's kind of like a hilariously obvious version of letting go. You know what I mean? Like, like is the idea? Oh,
You're not wrong.
I'm not gonna have the kid. I'm gonna donate the egg, but I do want to. I'm gonna find a way to micromanage like the only way to do that is for you to go straight to the source and interview people and say, "Oh my God, you seem perfect."
Well, I just want to say I think it's really cool. It's a cool idea, and I also think it's cool that you want to devote your life to your art, and I think that's special, and it's nice to like be able to give it so much, and I think it will really serve you as I think that's a positive thing to do. It's a good choice to make, and it's it's like obviously it's hard to make that choice, but I think making it is probably really fulfilling.
I'm gonna say I agree with Natasha. I'm gonna say with those eyebrows, if you do a post or two with some face pics saying I'm donating these eggs, get them while they're hot, and you kind of post a little bit on social media, maybe on some like Facebook groups, I'm sure there are some I know
that's terrifying.
It is terrifying, but I mean, you got to make a choice, like to have that much control, which I actually do understand what you're saying. This egg donation is not you just going like, hey, I got these eggs I'm not going to use, why don't I give them? It's more like almost a semi, no pun intended, spiritual quest for you to carry on, even if it's not going to be your kids, to carry on your family's kind of physical legacy. And you wanted to enter into a culture, a family who will carry on in some small way a cultural legacy as well. But what you don't want to do is just, have some kid living in some whatever it is. You have this vision because you're not on a I'm donating my eggs quest. You're on a I am honoring this like multi-generation epic legacy quest. So to me, you have to make a sacrifice one way or the other. One sacrifice would be, you know what? I'm just not going to have any control over this. I'm going to go to Jewish Children and Family Services, the same organization that helped my family, and then whatever happens, happens. And if that kid ends up, like being a extremist and not having any fun, hey, that's not my business.
Then she has guilt for no reason. She could have never done it.
That's one sacrifice. The other sacrifice is, okay, because I care about this and I need to be a little bit more in control of it in order for it to feel fulfilling to me, I'm actually going to put myself out there. I'm going to, go onto a Facebook group and say, hey, here's my situation. Is anyone interested? Contact me directly. I'm going to go on the Endless Honeymoon podcast and see if anybody contacts me. I'm going to tweet about it or, and that is the sacrifice that you will make on the other end. The third sacrifice, of course, is giving up your life, your vitality, all of the fun and freedom you'll ever have in having the kids yourself. Those are kind of the three choices you have here, and all of them require a version of sacrifice, much like the sacrifice that your great-grandfather made when he came over from the Ukraine.
And don't forget, just because
Yeah, I got it. Nice.
just because Moshe and I are raising our kid in a certain way doesn't mean that she'll turn out the way we want.
That's true too.
It's like even if she gets with the right family and who raises them in this right way and religiously, it's a little bit of a fantasy. You know what I mean? It's like, who are those people and what are they going to teach them and what's the kid's destiny? I don't know. Maybe you should just give them money, that organization.
I think that actually, now that I'm thinking of it, and I don't know this, and Orthodox listeners, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong. I do think that your fantasy about like hey, go meet Auntie Sid, who's actually your bio mom, is less likely to become true if it's an Orthodox family. There's something about me feels that they'll want to close that connection and kind of raise their kid in their world. So I think your best bet is in these kind of more like direct contact hippie Jewish community, because the thing about Judaism, as I'm
Facebook
sure you know,
post would be good.
they're networky. They are networky. And so if you go to like the Toledo, I don't know, weirdo vegetarian hippie Facebook group of Greater Ohio Jews, before you know it, someone in Colorado is going to be contacting you saying, "What's up, girl? I heard you got some eggs for sale." And you're going to find your person. But that will require you to do a little bit of direct work. That's what I think.
Do you have a high IQ?
Good question.
I think so.
Do you have Tay-Sachs and a high IQ, and what were your SATs?
I did not have any genetic testing
my God.
come back positive.
Mamma mia.
I will say, kind of like Natasha, and thank you for saying that about, the passion and the artistry and whatnot. I never thought that I would be back in Ohio. I was in Boston for over a decade. I went to school. I worked in academic publishing. I worked for a museum. I did all of those things. And then I realized the only way I can find the stability and inner tranquility that I want is to work out of a place like this,
How was the ayahuasca?
The ayahuasca?
No, I don't know. I'm teasing. It sounds like
I haven't done that yet.
It sounds like you had a full revolution.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Burnout and creative, probably abuse in the workplace. I don't know.
Well, they say, say you can't go home again,
That's
but
legit.
they wrote that phrase before the pandemic and the economic crisis and late stage capitalism. And it turns out you can go home again and you can afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I see. So you've kind of shifted your life.
Yeah. And just the way that things have unfolded now, I know that, a child of my own, taking care of a child is likely not what's happening. But I feel kind of a need to continue to preserve some sort of culture, as Moshe had said.
Here's what I'm going to do for you, Sid, because I like you and I'm impressed by your eyebrows. You've been emailing with our toxic producer, Laura.
Thanks.
You give her your information, and if you're interested, I'll put your little story out into my little network, because my brother is, I would say, a linchpin in the exact community that you want. I know a couple of people in a couple of different communities that are kind of your energy, and I'll see if I can connect you to somebody if you're interested. And you don't have to answer right now. You can think about it.
And also, Moshe might forget to ever email you back.
That is true, but I will.
It's not a big commitment.
It's true. It's true. I might forget we ever had this conversation. But if you're interested, I can help facilitate that and find somebody without you posting on Facebook.
I appreciate that.
And
That'd be great.
Get in touch with Laura when you're
I'll
ready.
think about it, but
Yeah. All right. Well, Sid.
Okay, well, good luck. And, I love this image. And you know what? Who's to say it can't happen? Just keep that image
But here's
of a girl knocking on your door. And
she's like, Sid, hello, my name is Hannah Bayat Bat Ben Ezra. I was raised, I've never in my life had a dress on that was not below my ankle bones. And I hear that you donated egg to me. What shall I do? And then you just bring her into your painting studio, and you show her the power of color, and you whisper in her ear, God is not real. And she goes, I knew it. I knew it.
yeah.
how do you know?
Then you think you'll be friends with her too, right? That could follow the fantasy. Maybe you should just have a kid.
I don't want to aim too highly.
No, I hear you. Okay, well, good luck, Sid.
Thank you,
and maybe Moshe will help you out.
That could be cool if you paint like a really elaborate painting that is like almost a puzzle. And when you unravel the puzzle, you realize the message is God is not real. And you give it to the parents and you say, my only stipulation is that you give this to the child at her bat mitzvah. And if she can figure it out by the time she's 18, she'll be an atheist and she'll come join you in Ohio and buy a house.
Sorry, I'm not laughing because then I start coughing.
Sid's laughing enough for both of us. Sid, good luck to you. Be in touch if you want me to help. I will help with this one.
Cool. Thank you both. And thanks for your books and looking forward to the next also.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Well, Natasha,
Yes.
I got a donation I want to make to you.
What's that then?
The opposite of an egg donation.
A sperm donation?
Yep. And sick or not, I can't. I'm losing control with
are you
those
saying
glasses and that scarf.
Are you saying you want to?
Oh yeah, I gotta get
make
off.
a sperm donation?
That's right. I gotta get off this podcast right now because that cough has got me.
You don't think I kind of sound sexy like Kathleen Turner or something?
I don't. You sound like Kathleen Turner at late stage lung cancer. Hopefully, she didn't die of lung cancer.
I don't know, honey. Maybe you should take that out.
That joke.
Whatever.
Natasha.
Yes.
Sick or not, Jewish or not, I love you.
I love you too.
And before we go, give us a call, 213-222-8608. Drop those secrets.
Oh, hello. We're having a dinner party Friday.
That's right. Also, endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com. You can get on the podcast and become like Sid.
No, but they need to join our Patreon for the dinner party.
Yeah, that's
This
that
Friday.
Too. If you want to be at our dinner party this Friday,
The 31st.
jump on the Patreon. And we love you, and we will help you find places for... Anyway, by the way, it's not just Judaism. If you called in and you were Nigerian, and you were like, I only wanted to go to a Nigerian family, I got networks there too. I got people in the Nigerian community. Let's say you're one of the Hmong people. I got people there too. You think I don't know a Hmong rabbi? I got you. So anybody that wants an egg donation in any specific ethnic community, give me a call.
It's really hard for me to imagine wanting my kid to be a very specific religion.
I get where
Gotta say.
No, it's not that. It's not that. The thing about Sid is that her story, her narrative, and this is true for a lot of American Jews, is really informed by the fact that their family was almost wiped out completely and that they barely escaped. And so for a person like Sid, I should have said this on the call, for a person like Sid who's made the peace with the fact that she doesn't want kids, like she has an inner peace about that, but there's an outer guilt, which is,
like a Catholic guilt to procreate or something.
No, it's more than that. It's Sid is saying, I don't want kids, but the choice I'm making is going to end the family line that barely made it out of Europe alive.
I see.
So by just giving the egg out into the world, at least there will be someone that's alive that the Nazis didn't get to crush. And that is the message I want to leave our podcast with every week is the Nazis didn't win, and they won't this time either.
All right. Well, if you'd like to talk about that and more, come to our Patreon dinner party this Friday, March 31st, and we'll see you later.
Also, we're going to be at the Polaris Hall June the 29th in Portland, Oregon. Come see us live. Goodbye.